Sorry, I always forget to get that thing. Business and every center, and especially spiritual organizations, go through this kind of thing. And it's what we end up with at the end that matters over this whole period. So what we want to do is, well, we'll talk about it when Patrick and I get up here, but together. But go ahead. Do you have anything to add to this?
Well, it basically, the 552 is a negative number. And as I do a lot of bookkeeping and accounting, so I know books, and that's not a happy thing. Where last year at this time, even though the pandemic was going on, we actually had a positive number of 3,500. Wasn't huge, but we were making it okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
should we talk about this?
Yeah, I think we can. Maybe you can point out the in donations where we get these off-island tithes and on.
Okay, so like for instance, our live stream tithes last year, live stream. That means people watched us and they actually left a donation. Okay, last year they were $4,900. This year, they're 18 or almost 19.
1,800.
Yeah, almost 19. So you can see that went down. Then I don't think less people are watching us. I think that for whatever reason they're not donating. Then last year we had a lot of one-time gifts that people just, it was during the pandemic and they were like, I'm going to send you $1,000. Here's $1,000. Here's $5,000. That's that kind of thing. Last year we had 4,900 of that. This year we had one-time gifts of 1,895.
Mm-hmm. 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. One-time gifts 10,969, and then this year there were 2,600 of one-time gifts. So you can see where we went down, right? And then our off-island tithes definitely went down a little bit. Last year, no, actually they went up. They went up.
They
Yeah.
went up.
Yeah.
And if you didn't understand that, we get a lot of donations from the mainland and even from a few other countries, I think. But people will donate, and sometimes it's out of the blue. We don't even know who the people are. They just send, which is wonderful.
I know, it's wonderful. We were really grateful. So last year that was at 25. I'm just going to round it off. Last year that was at 25,000, the off-island donations. This year they went up to 29. So that's good. So then the rest of it is like pretty much on island, which is people that donate through the mail, people that donate online. That's not live streaming. They decided to set up a PayPal and they give their donations online, okay? So, and then the Sunday service. And the Sunday service actually is up. That's because I think we have more people in the room. So last year we were at 22,643. This year we're at 27,221.
That's a 20% increase. That's dramatic. But the mail donations went down by 41%. It's just the way numbers flow.
Yeah, so they do. And like I said, we're not worried about it because we know the center's meant to be here. We've already proved it for 8 years. The center is not going away. The center is here. And now, and Patrick and I will talk more about that when we go, but we just wanted to share where we were at, and we're not doing this in any way to startle anybody or make you feel like you're not doing enough or any of that. It's just to let you know realistically what's happening. And like I said, we believe in this principle. We started this on nothing, and we have thrived. We've thrived for 8 years, and we're going to continue to thrive. And just because we're having a low, what if you want to call it a low point right now, it doesn't mean anything besides that we have.
And I think you're going to be talking about this more, but the word is not that each individual, we're asking for more from each individual. What we'd like is for each individual maybe to tell a friend or, gather more people either watching or whatever. They'll be discussing that.
Yeah. So that's all for now on that. All right. And like I said, if you want to see these figures, I'm happy to email them to you.
Any
All right.
questions?
Do you have any questions specifically about this? Yes, Cal.
What did you say was the off-island contributions this year?
This year, the off-island contributions, off-island, where are they? Off-island, 29,790.
That's like 30%.
And then 25,000 was last year. Yeah, I'm telling you that financially speaking, bless you all, because they really support us, and some of them have never been here, and they've been giving since the beginning of the center. That's how much they believe in us. And we should all just thank them from the bottom of our heart, because they really, really care about seeing. And then there's some that just come once a year, and they want to know that CSL Kauai is going to be here when they get here, and they believe in our mission, they believe what we're doing, and they donate every month. But there have been people that have never set foot in the center that send a check every month. And I mean, that makes my heart like just go, wow. They really believe in the teaching. They really believe in the thing. Yes?
So it's 29,000 out of 86,000?
No, 29,000 out of 82,000.
Out of 82,000 are off-island.
Of Off Island, yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right? So, and it's been that way pretty much since the beginning. It was probably more in the beginning. There was even more off island because we came here and they're like, oh, we want them to be successful, blah, 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 blah. But not very many of them had died off. They pretty much have stayed with us. So that's, yeah.
And the numbers show that the support on Kauai has been growing progressively year
definitely.
by year. That's a great thing, because as more people have learned about it
Yeah.
and want to give.
Yeah.
Sharon has a question.
Yeah.
What's the capacity for this room during normal times when there's?
We need to actually repeat that, whatever question is answered, so they can
Okay,
know that
what
online.
capacity, they want to know, does this room hold? If we can squish the chairs in, which we were doing toward the end, we can fit up to about 110, right, Patrick? We can fit about 110 people in this room. And we've been cut back to 50 right now, so.
And the other question I'm going to ask, but you may not want to deal with it. I still don't understand how you make too much money to benefit from what was happening for other
Oh,
churches.
well, if I showed you the figures, you had to show a loss, and we didn't have the big enough loss in order to qualify for that loan. It was like a 25% loss or something.
It was a loan that they were
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
apparently a forgivable loan. We didn't go for the business loan because we don't want a loan that we're going to have to pay back. We've never had a loan in this center. So, but the one that they were saying was the forgivable one, we didn't qualify for. And we looked at it twice and we didn't qualify for it. And we weren't going to finagle the figures so that we did. I mean, that would be totally against what we teach. So, no, but, and like I said, that fundraiser was spectacular, and it really made us feel as a community that we really are meant to be here. Yes, Beth.
So, is there assumption that the amount of classes and programs that you offered is the same?
Would you mean she wants to know
Financially, you
if
mean?
financially, the class income in 2021 went up.
Did you have more classes?
We had more attendance at classes. We
Or more classes?
No, it's more
It was
attendance.
attendance. We offer a class sometimes and nobody signs up for it, or very few sign up. But like, for instance, the Lost Mode of Prayer, we had a lot of attendance at that. So we're looking at that and going, what kind of things do people want? Because we don't want to offer things anymore that nobody wants. We don't want to sit here in a room with, although it's valuable, we don't really want to sit here in a room with 3 people. It's not great for them, and it's not great for the material, because you don't get to that same energy when you only have 3 people. So yes.
Just a testimonial that Rob and I loved taking classes from them from the beginning 8 years ago. There were many classes, there were 3 or 4 or 5, and it didn't matter to them. They just kept going on. So now if they have 15 in a class, I don't know what your top numbers are.
Yeah, our top numbers are about 25, but
But
I think we can
they
do
did
better
this-
than that.
They did this for years with only a handful of students, and the classes really change your lives. Those of you have been in classes, you know that. they can change your life. You just go deeper into the whole philosophy.
Right, that's where lives are upgraded is in class. Yeah, Diane, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to ask what your monthly budget is.
Our monthly budget is, if we make 18,000, we're going to be fine.
Okay, so 18,000 divided by 110 chairs,
Is what? I don't have a calculator, but
is that $1,000 a person?
no.
No, because there's 4 weeks. How do we
Yeah,
figure that?
I don't know. That's a good thing. Why don't you get your calculator out and figure it out?
How much does each chair cost? Is
Right.
what I'm
Okay.
wondering.
All right. Well, I don't have the figure in front of me, but that's a really good idea. But you know what happens is that, some people give more and some people give less, and that's fine. I don't want to belittle anybody's gift because everything matters. Everything matters, and it's the consistency too that matters. It's the consistency that it's going to show up every year. That's going to show up.
I think in my head it's probably $180 a chair. Does that make sense to you?
For-
4 weeks,
For 1 month.
if we had 110 people in here every week for 4 weeks, we would need to pay $40 a week each. That's doable for many people.
Yeah.
What
And
is-
some people get, well, yeah, so, yeah.
Cal,
Anyway.
did you have something? You sure? Yeah, just one thing, and then we're going to go on to the thing. Not that I don't want to be in this, but
Right.
some of this is going to be covered in that. But let's talk about this $40 a seat. It has been suggested to us since day one. Many suggestions since day one. But there's a couple that we stand more firm on. It's very difficult to I've been in every center I've been in, they've told me how much it costs me to sit in the seat. I don't particularly feel it works to say that, to do that. I think it puts a number on something, but I also think there's a responsibility that we're not sharing with our community, the whole community, to let them know how important it is that we get out and we let this place be known.
That's it.
That's
really.
really all it is. It's not about, because so what, we get 40 a thing, it'll meet the numbers, but it's bigger than that. We're bigger than that. And we have big plans for the next 2.5 years. And just like when we first started here, I used to say, we don't need, young minister, we don't need your money. We've got God. And then this businessman walked up to me and said, I'm going to give you a little advice. I'm only on the island for 2 weeks. I'm going to tell you, stop saying that. Because he said God works through each and every one of us. But I was like, we don't, God, blah. Just like I was telling Rita, I said 10%, gets everybody all like, scared and religious, flashbacks. And, but we were saying, I deal with 100% God. I will not be let down. But it is not fair. What I always think about Rita and I always tell Rita, everybody, I say, we've got to stop being the parents who don't tell the kids they can't have a bike for Christmas because we don't have the money. Even when we don't. We need to be responsible adults to say, we're all in this together. This is where we're at. Get your brochures out there. Start letting people know where you come on Sundays. Let people know. And even if nobody puts a thing in the thing, but they are going to be advanced. Right. Their lives are going to change. And when their lives change, they are more willing for the, because we don't teach tithing, we teach what?
The law of circulation.
Law of circulation. You cannot give and give and give and expect not to and not receive. The same way you cannot take and expect to, what's that bird on the, I love that story, I have to get it more clear, but the bird that kept coming to the island and taking it and never was giving anything back. And it doesn't mean just financially. I used to say when I first came here, if you take a $5 bill and you stick it on your forehead, be proud of it. I think a lot of people aren't giving online that are watching us. Look at me all sweaty again. But people that are watching going, God, they're really wonderful. These people are really wonderful. But I'm not going to give like 10 and then attach my name to it. No, attach your name to it. Put $10 in. I used to tell my mom, I said, Mom, do you know that if I went around the country and I asked every person I met for $1, and I went to 1 million people, I'd be a millionaire. That's how it is. It's $1, $10, $20. But the thing of it is what it tells us is, yeah, we're going to thrive. And your $10 or $5 or $1,000, 20,000, 2 million, 5. It doesn't matter. That's what we're really talking about. The excitement that is breeding with this. So I'm for how much it costs because that is the truth. But then I'm also like, does people feel like, oh, if I can't give that, then I
can't go?
I
That's-
can't
we
go. I
certainly
mean, they
don't
do it
want that.
enough with I'm not in a good mood, so I can't go to see it. No, you can go in a good mood. You can do this, but please let people know we have colleagues that have been ministers in their center and have never, their mother doesn't even know they're a minister. I was a practitioner and going into ministry, never told my mother because I was so busy and she wouldn't understand anyway. And I just tell everybody, I go to this wonderful place and do it,
It's good. All right, there's our passionate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Passionate Patrick, we'll call him. All right.
PP.
So, all right. So since the annual meeting, we already said that we're still at half capacity. Although we're not saying no to anybody, just so you know. All right. It always works out perfect. It always works out perfect. People cancel and then people come in. We did all this stuff during the pandemic. We still had our services. We never missed one service during the pandemic.
I know.
We had our meditations. We had our Zoom hospitalities. We did our classes as best we could. We did our workshops. We did our sessions if they were called upon. We did spiritual cinema. We had even creative ways of doing that, right? Remember when we used to, some of us did, watch the movie and then we'd come on Zoom and talk about it because we couldn't be in the room. We did our healing circles
wasn't
online. And now, things are becoming to be back in person. And I want you all to know that we have a practitioner class coming up. They just finished their first year. And this is really exciting because should they choose to go forward, we'll have 5 new practitioners. And we lost some practitioners because they went to the mainland, so we're excited about these 5 people, and I think Patrick's going to mention them later. So we feel like we've put more money into our live streaming and our sound. It's all improving thanks to Jonathan. I mean, Jonathan has turned into quite an artist with sound. I mean, we've given him some very complicated projects, like the Sacred Earth Choir, and he's managed to make it work. And Rob, thank you. So, and people are watching us, and we're going to continue to upgrade this live streaming because we feel that our global community, like we said, is very important, and people need to hear this message globally too. And our tithing program, this is really awesome. We just put a figure we just went through the books and got the figure. And since we started in the center, we've given out $100,341 in tithing in 7 years. I know, isn't that awesome?
I was so excited when I said all of our 8 years, and we've just been 10%ing it, and but look how it adds up.
So what happens is every time you guys make a donation, we take 10% of it and we put it aside, and then that way we have money to donate like we had money to donate to Pride because we have our tithing. We're not taking it and for us, tithing is really important. We do it in our own lives. And we know that one of the reasons people have at times told us, don't do that, you're not making your expenses, blah, blah, blah. No, we always made our expenses, and we always tithed. And that's something that's in our bylaws, and we would never, ever not do that. The center would close before we did that. But I was excited about that figure.
That's very exciting.
And then Vista, I don't know if many people know that Vista came here, which is the Center for Spiritual Living and International, came here to do the opening session. But unfortunately, because of COVID, they couldn't come. But we still were streamed across the world. And thanks to Rob and Jonathan and many other people that showed up to help that day. Diane was there, Dr. Peggy. We were able to pull that off. And it was not easy because we had to, they were supposed to bring their whole technical team here. And so we're really grateful to our team that came together. And the bookstore is starting to build itself up again. And we updated the website. We hired a webmaster. And a very beautiful, amazing, reasonable webmaster, thanks to Charles, and she's working with us, and we're still working on the website. And that's all I have. Now, Patrick, it's your turn.
Okay, and I promise not to get off into don't make promises you can't keep, Patrick. But I did want to remind us of our mission statement, to awaken humanity to its magnificence by crossing the bridge from duality to unity. And I don't think we say it enough to remember really what we're doing. And what do we offer? The Center of Spiritual Living Kauai offers a safe space and the spiritual tools to facilitate the awakening of everyone's individual's inner power to express successful relationships, optimum health, and a prosperous and creative life. And if that's all we do while we're here, we've done a really good job, don't you think? So a couple of notes that Rita and I were talking about. We were talking about the money, and the money always, before you present it, it always becomes like this. You know what I mean? You're having a good time, and the classes, and everybody's like, yeah, pride. Finances. And that's what I think is one of the things, just like I think dis-ease and death and everything is one of the challenges we're having, because nobody wants to talk about it. My parents never talked about it. My mother never let me even know what she made for all of her life. I never knew my mother was working. And when I found out after she passed away, because she saved everything, and I saw what she was living, what we were living on, oh my God. But it's one of those subjects nobody wants to talk about money. And it's not a shame thing. That's what I would, personally, my ministry, along with other things, would like to change. We can talk about it without all that stuff. So I was telling Rita, what we're talking about is we're on year 8. We want to go from just sustaining, just surviving, which I never feel like we are until you look at books and you go, oh, that's kind of survival, and that's fine too. But I want to go to what we're all capable of, and that's thriving. Oh, it's okay. $1 million donation just came in. Thank you very much out there. We'll be renting and getting our space pavilion. Yeah, so it's okay. So what we're doing now is, I'd like to blame it all on the pandemic, which many do, because everything went wrong with the pandemic, but we were all doing stuff before the pandemic. But we are now getting ready to what I call re-enter. And so it is, last time at the meeting it was asked of us, how would you do things now if you were starting today? With what you know and what you have, how would you start? And I think that's really positive, because we can start with a fresh idea like, what do we really want? What is it that we really, really need? And I think, Jack's been in this science of mind forever and a day. I remember before we came here. Rita and I, we started this because we believe so much in this teaching, in this modality of spiritual mind treatment and practitioner work and all of the things. I think we have done a brilliant job creating a community. A brilliant job of it. None like I've seen anywhere. It's just, and I know it's Kauai, but it's the heart. But there's that other part of it too, that we have to, the teaching has to be another step up for us to go, did you know that we're working in the quantum field? Because everybody wants to hear that. And they want to say about you, speaking of teaching, Ernest Holmes, that was written in 1926. What could it possibly offer? I don't know, but you haven't read it. And so my thing is, that's okay that you didn't read it, but this is a gold mine. Austin, or the girl that we just...
blank, I don't
Jane
know.
Austen.
Jane Houston.
Jane
right.
Houston. I always want to
She
have her
calls
from
her
Austin.
Jane Austen all
I always
the
want to
time.
call her from
Wrong
Austin.
city, wrong city.
She did... Gene,
Gene Houston.
Gene, how are you? Okay, so... The thing of it is that she was talking about this teaching being the best kept secret in the world, because she said nobody really knows about it. It needs to be in the colleges, and I wish we had to read what she said about it, but
It's
she
over there
wrote, she
in
wrote
the
the
bookstore. They
foreword
can
to
look
it.
for it.
But my point is that there's something here, and I think we have just fallen a little short of letting you know. I think some people know about the power of prayer and how that works. But our practitioner sessions are so important. And I think that this is just a time to really educate. I don't think people know. There are people, those 6 people that came today, they just said, I didn't know you were open. Since July, guys. So we need the marketing. We need to get out there. We need to do that so that we signed the 3-year lease. At the end of this 3 years, it's 2.5 now, I think we should be out of here. And then you go, well, how's that possible when you're already in a deficit, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm going to tell you that we're here and stranger things have happened.
Regarding
Uh-huh.
We had started group visualization, manifestation things, and then they stopped. I wondered if there's a reason or.
Oh,
Yeah,
group
I'll-
manifestations. He's
yeah.
talking about visualizing.
Right, exactly. I'll tell you a little bit about
Visioning,
that.
he's
We're,
talking
we're
about.
redoing that. This is my personal opinion of why it never gets a follow through. Visioning is wonderful, but usually what people are really doing is strategizing, which is not really, that's a different meeting and a different group setting, which is beautiful. We should strategize.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing a lot of times is we ask those questions, and Michael Beckwith does very well with them. I think it needs a new formula. I think that people get very excited for a day and put it together, and then that particular thing has not worked where I come from. It doesn't. Diane's used it a lot. It works in her centers, I'm sure. But but we're talking about the metaphysical. We're talking about working with the invisible. And for some reason, it always, all the little pieces of paper and stuff are all about the physical world. Like, how are we going to get that? And if you ask this person that, and why don't you strategize? That's perfect. I'm really for bringing a strategy meeting together, but I'm also for the idea of doing it from a metaphysical point of view.
The other half of my question then was more strategy. What is our perceived, like, range, geographical range, like how far north or how far west could the center
Well-
work as far as,
That's a great question.
That's a great
question.
I feel like the majority of our population is in Kaua'i. Now, would we go to Lihue? I would be open to it. We would be open to it if the most perfect property came. But I think that if we can stay in this area, it's going to be better. I would go as far as Anahola. I wouldn't go any further than that. I think it would be a mistake to go down south. We'd lose everybody. And, it's hard for the people that come from Poipu and stuff to even get here. So our goal would be, like, my vision is Kaua'i, because that's where the majority of people are. And it's not that hard for the people from Princeville to get to Kaua'i, especially, it's just not that hard. And the Lihue people don't seem to mind it. There's not that many Lihue people, but they don't seem to mind it. But so Kaua'i, but we're open. I
And-
think we should be open. I know that I don't think it's a good idea to go like back where the Hindu monastery is, because we have classes and we do things at night and stuff. We don't want people driving. They're not going to want to drive through the mountains to get there. But maybe not. I don't know if somebody offered us, 3 acres and it.
great space on the edge of Anahola, the old Mola dairy has a beautiful brick building that's basically empty, huge space, extra rooms around, and the owner is very connected with the Hindu temple, and I don't know, there might be some, kind of.
All right, well, talk to us about
Yeah,
it.
well, if
Bring it to
we'll
the
have somebody
table.
follow through with that.
Right now, I think we should stay open, is what I'm
yeah.
saying.
And Anna Myers knows exactly when we first came here, we tried some stuff up north, remember? Anna wanted it up there so bad she could taste it. But
They didn't
they
seem-
didn't want that. They had another idea. And that's okay. And what's really funny is more people come from the north now that we're here than they were there. So anyway, it's an interesting thing. Yes, absolutely. Space does matter. Location does matter. Because we were looking at a place way up and we were driving up there and, I just said, wow, this is so centrally located. What I was thinking is that we should, all the other people find a place to go in the building, and we just take the entire building. And then all that lot back there too, we could build farm stuff on it. And might ask, think big. This is the deal about thinking big and money. I'm learning about money. I'm learning. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Somebody used to say, I remember being on a plane, I was looking at these houses and they were like 2-3 million. And they go, don't you think you better look at something a little like, like 500,000? I go, I don't have money for the $250,000 house. So if this is my imagination right now, I'm going with the big one. And that's how the people have made it in this world and created something, is by looking
Patrick,
big.
it's just so you know, it's 11:20.
Thank
so
you.
I think we should.
Okay,
wrap it.
last year we had the intention of getting an administrator. We are going to get an administrator because this is what has happened with follow through. Rita and I have done it. It's great to have a twosome, and that helped a lot in the beginning. But right now, unless Rita and I can get to the creative aspect of building this the way we did when we came here, it will be very hard to see it going forward in a big way. I mean, not that I mind, but you know, I'm 63, and even though I'd like to celebrate my 30th one on here, 93, yeah, I'll be here. But but my point is that we now have to, no matter what it is, and we've already been hiring, looking, and even if it's part-time and then part-time volunteer, that's fine too. And then also to reach out to the community in an organized fashion to see what you can do, like the Instagrams and the Facebook and getting your stuff out there so that people know that we're here. Let me see, increased, you know, they'll increase membership. Increased membership isn't how many people can we get in the club. The idea is how many people can we get that's going to help change their lives, that's going to also connect, you know, to a donation-based operation. And then, I'm almost done. 5 practitioners have completed their first training, and then...
Just say who they are.
Oh, yeah.
I want to acknowledge them.
Melissa
It's a lot of
Mojo,
work.
DJ Star, Jamie Prem, who is going to have a baby in September, and so she's been going all through this with a smile on her face. And Sue Wood and Peggy Jerry. So, and Melissa's online watching
We're
this
so
too.
proud of them. It's a lot of work to go through practitioner training, and they've just really made it through their first year with
Right.
flying colors.
Right. Okay, so in closing of this future, in a nutshell, how it really looks is it's not about how much more money can you get, which is part of the thing, because we already know that we need the money. We know that. But I think if we can give people why we're here and what the benefit of what we're doing here is. Obviously, by the phone calls and the things that have been said to us, they're so grateful, right? That this is like a lifeline on Sundays and through the week, and that we're here. But we're growing, we're going to change, and this year we're going to really sit down and look at that. But I really believe, they say that a volunteer coordinator is the key to any organization such as this. And I'll tell you why. And that's what we're hoping to do with the administrator, turn the administrator, have that work, and then also a volunteer coordinator, because so many of you have offered to help, and we have not been able to get back to you. And there are many skills that you have that you could utilize, and if we put that whole package together, we'll be moving forward. We love, yes?
It sounds like what you're talking about is not just an administrator, but an administrator with marketing capability.
Yes.
And I use the word marketing, comes from sales background, but it's so important.
Right.
It's so important.
Absolutely.
So when you do hire or whatever, or volunteer, I would also include and check into their marketing ability.
Right.
Yes, we need somebody that's sharp with social media, for sure, because that's where it's at right now, especially if we want to attract young people too, and we do want to attract young people.
And young people are
So
coming.
something's
and-
here when we all go.
Yeah.
Right.
But I want to say something about marketing. There's a fine line, and that's where we're at with marketing. The reason that we're so successful, I believe, is because we have this different kind of a grassroots heart type thing that's very attractive to people because it's authentic. And people aren't used to that. I know a lot of colleagues that are like, you know, okay, I got this guy and he's, you know, I'm going to pay him, you know, $20,000 and he'll get you on the lines. And so I agree. Marketing I love marketing. I absolutely love it because I love to see what it takes to get people, you know, to come in and to look at it. So I think that we have that and a volunteer coordinator and a person whose heart is in this center. Is very, very important. And I know this is going to happen. I know it can feel overwhelming. I know that it can feel that way, especially at the end of the day. You know, you go this and that and this and that and this and that, and Rita's in the books, and I'm, you know. But we've done a great job, all of us thank you for believing in yourselves. Thank you for believing in us. But I think it is time to turn this center into a we. A lot of times people say, you know, you're this or your rent went up. No, actually our rent went up. It really did. Our marketing went up. You know, Rita and I, you know, not to, you know, play a violin, but I will play a little bit of it. We were saying the other day, Rita and I, you know, have not even had a raise in 8 years. And when we first came, and I really want this to be the finale, I promise. But what happened was our beautiful board, who we were saying, you know, make sure that center goes, and we'll take kind of what's left over. That's when things were not very good at Centers for Spiritual Living Kauai. It was when our brilliant board said, you don't teach us that. You don't teach us that. You teach us abundance. You teach us that we can have any. So for us to step back, and that's just old programming. That's just, you know, if we didn't, we would have never got on the plane. But what the point of the matter is that you have to own it. And then the minute that we said, I mean, I remember the treatment in the board meeting. She said, I said, and one of the board members said, this is it. Our ministers will be paid in full, and no kind of like maybe tomorrow if things work out, now. And the moment that we did now, we've never looked back in the last 4 or 5 years. And so we have to move forward to say, this is the teaching that we teach, not on special occasions. Not just, you know, except for ours, everything else is, you know, unlimited. And that's what we teach you. Is that you are unlimited. So when somebody says, how you doing? And we all get nervous about it, we're doing great. But it's we. So this, going into it, it'll be we, and we. I love you.
Roseanne, treat us out.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Any more questions? Because we wanted to get you out of here in an hour.
Yeah.
Just one suggestion,
Yes.
a sign,
What kind of sign?
best kept secret.
Yes.
Where's the Center for Spiritual Living? And every time someone drives by, they get reminded, this is where that place is.
Okay, I'll answer that real briefly. There are rules to your building. Now there seems to be no rules, kind of like the pandemic. There's this whole, now he's got leasing up there, and so we're going to kind of change a little bit and put something in the window. But when we first came here, we were forbidden to do that. So now I agree with you. Yeah,
I think a neon sign. No, I'm serious, because I'm in Princeton. You can really regulate outside signs, but we could put a sign up that will go through the window. And I've been thinking, let's get creative.
Oh, well.
You know, of like the open signs, but a creative one, and maybe we could even do a fundraiser for that. But yeah, so like when you drive by, you can see during the day, and for sure, once the dust comes, and have a beautiful.
That's a great idea.
as long as it's not too neon that they're driving by going, oh my God, a massage parlor just opened up overhead. Has extra money.
Very ethereal and enchanting, she's saying.
No, I absolutely agree with you.
That's great. Talk to us. I think that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
There are no bad ideas, let me tell you. Okay, Miss
Roseanne.
Roseanne's going away for a while, 2 or 3 weeks to visit.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Finally
so.
escaped.
To see my daughter, maybe my son, and 4 grandchildren. So, so mahalo. Mahalo to each person here. And knowing that each of us has been here on a divine appointment. And thank you for showing up also for those people online. This is a divine appointment because we are part of something greater than what each of us is alone. We are all expressing that power, that divine power that's within us. And every thought and everything that's occurred in this meeting is just wonderful. And I am so grateful for it. And providing the truth and honesty about what's going on with CSL, and it's all good. It's all good. And so as we all go about our day and go out into the world, just know that each person is loved very much. That is what we teach here. And blessings to each person as we go out into the world and take our message that CSL teaches and that all the great mystics in the history of the universe have taught, that we are one. We are all one. And I release this to the word and as we affirm together.
And so it is. Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you, everybody, for staying. Thank you for staying and for being part. And so
to
beautiful
Beth,
and giving. Some
one
of us
thing
have
I
been
wanna
here
add
from
to
the very
Beth's.
beginning. Yeah.
What we found out is the reason there's that big sign on the front door now is because, and the one on the side door, is because we found out that the people that do your blood, the blood people, are moving downstairs. So we thought that would make nice advertising for all those people getting blood, that we're going to promote more so that they're going in the doors, and then
And we're going to
they'll be able
put
to see
the
it.
brochures out there, too. So, yeah. Thank you, everyone.